Hey, what's going on, everybody? Yesterday I recorded a video. I was about an hour long, like I usually do, going over detailed, specific information, and my internet was out. So, Frontier Fiber Optics, they fixed it, but I figured, it's already, they fixed it around, I think, 7 or 8 o'clock yesterday. So I figured, it's a little late. Let me just see what happens the next day and then I'll just remake a video. So, but here's the thing. I think I'm going to upload that video if nothing changes, right? If nothing changes, I think I'll still upload that video later this evening. But for now, I'm going to focus my attention on XRP because I really like what I'm seeing right now from the XRP coin. And not just what the chart is saying, but just getting weird feelings from outside of the chart and especially in the chart as well. So I could be totally wrong. I could be totally wrong. But that's why, you can challenge what I'm about to say. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know. But let's start with the price first, because price is king. So we'll see how this plays out. But right now, right, let's actually look at the smaller time frames. The smaller time frames don't look so nice. They don't. I'll have to be honest. They don't look that great. Um, they're kind of like, let's go over it. So we have a potential. This is one idea. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. That's a diagonal. And then we had A, B, C. Perfect. Perfect. Right? We have a three-way pullback. And then, right, what comes next? 5 waves. So it looks like we have wave 1, wave 2. Is this the middle of wave 3? It totally could be. It totally could be. I don't know if it is or not. It's a little weird because it's Friday. I mean, it's not uncommon to get Friday, Saturday pumps. It's just not usual. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, that's one look you can assign it to. And another reason to validate that look, right? This is, look at, even if you're a theta hodler, right? Not financial advice. If you don't really like XRP, I get it. I understand. But at the end of the day, it's about making money, right? I mean, that's what really this is about, is making money. So, whatever your moral, ethical alignment is, not to say XRP is unethical, but a lot of people believe that because it's the AKA banker coin. It's doing the bidding of the banks, and that's a topic for another day. But you know, just I would encourage those to look a little deeper. And 2 YouTube channels that offer good perspectives would be 1, Digital Perspectives, and 2, Digital Asset Investor. Those 2 channels, I think, are the godfathers of sort of the outlining of what XRP really is, as opposed to what the Bitcoin maxi narrative is that has creeped its way into the altcoin narrative, right? Because you get a lot of Bitcoin. I mean, when you got to understand, XRP is an OG. It's been around a long time. So, I mean, even Anthony Pompliano said, hey, you guys, Bitcoin was great, but wait until you see XRP, right? He was all for it. The biggest maxi of them all. And then he switched gears, and then they started realizing, uh-oh, this thing's getting too big here. I think they started feeling threatened. They didn't like it, right? And then, of course, it was not a mining protocol, but you have to understand, mining is not necessary for high-speed payments, right? Mining is necessary if you want a structure like gold, right? Where gold is what? It's a bar of gold, which is what? You put it in your safe, which is what? It's a store of value. It's not meant to be transmitted, right? If you have to transmit billions of things all over the world through these mining machines, it's just so unnecessary and clunky and not feasible, I think. Because if Bitcoin wants to be a $500 million coin, it's gonna have a lot of network fees, congestion. So there needs to be more mining equipment, which is gonna use even more electricity, right? I mean, I'm not a big Green New Deal guy. I mean, I believe in oil and coal and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's not necessary because there's other technologies that'll do it better. So maybe I'm totally wrong, and Bitcoin will be the new world reserve currency. It totally could be, but I just don't see it being transmitted as much like gold. Like when people buy gold, they hoard it. They don't use it, right? And Bitcoin is too precious to be spending on a donut. You know what I mean? Like you just don't do that. It's like I always compare it to like a 1950s classic Ferrari. You drive it once in a while. You don't drive it every day to work, right? And I think of XRP like a diesel truck. You drive that thing every day. It's got long distances. It can handle it, right? So let me know in the comment section what vehicle you would assign Theta to. Because I still haven't figured that one out. But let me know in the comment section. Maybe a Tesla Cybertruck? I don't know. Okay, let's get serious. So the price, right, is definitely rising, right? So first of all, this idea right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, perfect. We got an ABC, perfect. We got a 1, 2, perfect. So now it's up to the price to get us through these retracement levels. It might not happen today, tomorrow, or maybe even next week, but eventually it needs to work its way through it in order for this to be valid. And I think that could be the case, considering the fact that, man, I wish you guys watched that last video. Considering the fact that everything happened yesterday, happened exactly the way we talked about it the day before, which was Bitcoin coming back down to backtest a specific area. So, and we'll jump into that as well. So we have a rising trend line. We have horizontal resistance. That is basically an ascending triangle in the works. So we actually tested that ascending triangle on the bottom here, and we got bought back up very quickly, which means what? This trend line is no joke. This trend line is serious business here. So, and it happened very fast. And by the way, yesterday, Coinbase allowed trading in New York and I think Michigan, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So my friend lives in Michigan, and he says I can now trade XRP on Coinbase. I didn't know that was the case. I thought Coinbase relisted it for everybody. I didn't know certain states didn't allow it still. But that's good. And we could see this insane volatility in here from that event. And it was interesting because it seemed like it was timed, right as everything was backtesting here, right? Like Bitcoin, I mean, that was the most critical moment, right? For Bitcoin to backtest, and it happened right there. So, I mean, it's not a big piece of news, but it did offer this wild volatility. Look at this. Just, you're looking at it. I know you're looking at it, but wait until I show it to you. So it comes down, right? It goes all the way. Actually, I'm going to have to zoom in even further so you can understand what exactly happened. So I'm going to narrate this. So we're just waddling along, chilling. We dump all the way down here. And then all of a sudden, the news comes out, I think, right about there. And then we pump all the way up and hit the high, almost 55 cents. Right? And then we come all the way back down and dump all the way to 50 cents. That was a huge dump from here all the way down. And then we pumped all the way back up to the close of this candle, right? The retracement. And then we dumped all the way back down and broke the low. That is some gnarly volatility. Unfortunately, I did not. I stood back and I watched it. I wasn't sure what was going on. I wasn't confident what was happening here. So there was no way I was going to risk any money on a trade until I figured what was going on. Because I didn't know if this was going to break out, if this was going to dump. I mean, you have these wild swings up and down, and you just have to kind of wait it out and see. So, I mean, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 crazy volatile swings, and then it sort of leveled itself out. It actually came all the way back and retraced again. It came back down, it made a higher low, and now it's starting to pump. So what is this pump? Well, that count I said, if this is a 1-2, it's not looking the best of the 1-2s because of the way it looks to me. It seems a little corrective moving up. I mean, you have these overlapping waves, right? I like this wave, but you know, I'm not sure if that's some kind of diagonal or if that's some kind of B wave, or even if it's a wave 1, right? It could be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 with an ABC pullback, right? But when I look at this, it looks like a flat. It just seems like it needs more downside to go at the moment. It could still be a big 1, 2, but it needs some more downside. So the small time frames don't really look so nice. I mean, you know, depending how you count it. The other bearish idea is that I would have to show you on a different chart. Let's go to Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin, it looks like a flat. I mean, I hope it's not, but it looks like it is. So right here you have A, B, and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have an ABC. That's a very three-wave-ish shape, and we're right at resistance here. So I would expect a pullback. I would expect something to happen here. I mean, we're right at resistance. Are we going to come back down? Right? Are we going to consolidate and then break out of that resistance? That would be great. That would be a nice 1, 2, 1, 2, right? But I'm not sure if that's 5 waves. It doesn't look like it. This is the small time frame, so just understand that. This could be an A, B, C, right? And then we have another A, B, C, and then we get one more A, B, C, and then we bottom out, and then we go. And that's basically the whole thing is an A, B, C. It's basically a zigzag, like a double correction. So let me zoom out and see how that would look here. Let's go to the 90-minute chart. So first of all, we brilliantly back-tested, you know, the area that we've been talking about. So back over here, I said it doesn't look finished. It looks like it needs to come down, and it did. And we came down, right, and we back-tested this area right here, which was very important that we hold it. So that's why I said, you know, we got to hold the line here. We have one more. We just don't really want to break this low, right? And this zone down here. We really want to stay above it. Above the first one would be nice because we can get another high. But if we have a bigger correction, right, if this is going to be an A, B, C, then we could come down here, but we really need to hold this. This would be the final thing for us to hold, because then you're starting to overlap into wave 1, and then it's not looking like an impulse anymore. So I would prefer it to hold here. So we have a 1, 2, right? And we could still be, this could still technically be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we need another hit to the high, and then we kind of flag out for a bigger correction like this. Unless this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now we're flagging out for that correction now. So, so once again, right, we're having to deal with the price in a corrective form in a retracement, because you have point A on the top, you have point B in the bottom, and you have this right in the middle of these 2 points, essentially. So, that's always a very challenging spot. Is it going to break out? Is it going to break down? I don't really have the answer for that. I can go to the microstructure, right, and try to get it my best guess. And my best guess is to say that we probably have more downside. So just because I don't like the way this is shaped, it just seems like it needs to come down here. Maybe let's build a base. That would be good, right? If we could start building a base in here, right? So here's our support. So let's build a base on top of this base, or at least, above it slightly, right? So we can come down, maybe come back up, something like that, where that consolidates us over the weekend, which would make sense because usually price doesn't have big moves over the weekend. So who knows? It might be a little good short opportunity here. I was looking at it, but I didn't pull the trigger. But yeah, that's sort of what I would like to see if this is going to pull back. Now, if this is going to flag out and get us up here, then I'm expecting then it to flag out. So you see the amount of time this box is. Even if we break out, that time is still going to be made up for by us flagging out up here. So you can see how they're both the same size. Now I'm just rough estimating how big they are. It could be bigger, but usually that's proportional for what they do. So if we break out, we would flag out and go. If we came down, we would break out and go. It'd be the same thing. Personally, I would like it to come down and build this base here. That would be nice to see. And then it would correct this looks like an expanded flat, honestly. And there it goes. It's dumping there. Man, I should have pulled that short too. I was looking right at it. There's the 2-minute chart. All I got to do is put my stop loss right there. Or if I'm being a little more risky, right there. Right? But I would have gotten in already. I don't like, it's already gone down too far. I mean, I would like to see a pullback. If we get a pullback, maybe it'd be a nice short. I don't know. So that's Bitcoin there. We'll see how that plays. So just a recap on the big picture. This is either bullish option number 1, right? Just to recap, this is an ABC or WXY. Some people can label it like that as well. And this is a 1, 2. And now we're getting ready to get ready to go, right? Maybe we flag out a little bit first and then we get ready to go. That's the hope. That's the main idea that we all want. Yeah, so basically very bullish. The other idea is to say that we are getting something like this, where this wave is this wave is this wave, and we still need this. So we need this, something like that. And that would be a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, breakout, right? And that would be actually a really good thing because we would build a base here. We would actually build a base at the all-time high. Now, if you're a true Bitcoin investor, a hodler for the ultimate future, you're going to want this base. Why? Because look at this. I'm going to show you why you're going to want this base. Because if this thing builds a base and we break out, then you're like, okay, I don't even care about that anymore. You know, we're broken out. Yeah, but you got to think ahead of time. You got to think in the future, right? If we get up here, right, and then we start having a bear market, then you're going to want this base, because if it's no base, you're going to slice right through that and you're going to go down to a lot of support, right? You're going to come down to a pretty hefty area of support, probably somewhere in that zone, I would imagine. Maybe not that deep, but we'll just have to see. Right? If you had a base here and we come back down, we could back test the base, right? We have more support up here, and then we have more support here, right? So we have a better chance at holding support before carving out a new cycle and then a new bull run. You know, we'll just have to wait and see how that plays out. But that would be the main reason you would want a base, is so that you have more support at the all-time high, so that when we have the next bear market, we can hopefully hold that support. So, you know, you got two ideas there. The other idea, right, is that this is an A, this is a B, the B's finished, and now we're going down in wave C to backtest, you know, the 50K area, 47, 50K area. And then continue, right? Build a base, continue higher. So we got two bearish ideas, and, well, actually, I would say two bullish ideas and one bearish idea. So one bullish idea in price and time, one bullish idea in price, but also one bearish idea in time. And then the other one is both bearish in price and in time. So there you go. So that's why I'm saying this is like do or die right here. This is the most critical area Bitcoin could possibly be at, because we are not only, I mean, you got to understand how significant this is. We're right at the 702. I'm glad we got back above it, right? I mean, we broke through the 702, through the 886. I wish we would have did it, you know, at the end of the weekend as opposed to the beginning of the week, because when you go to the weekly chart, it doesn't look nice, right? That's why I say I don't really like when the market pumps on the weekends, because what happens is by the end of the week, the price ends up dumping, and then you don't have a nice weekly close. You have a candle that looks like this, where you have a big tail here, right? Basically saying, I'm not ready to leave home yet, right? It's a little bird getting ready to fly away from the nest, and he's saying, no, I'm not ready yet. So gonna have to kick that bird out one day. We're gonna have to do something there. So, you know, I like how we sliced through the 786, 702, and the 886, but now we're at the end of the week. Now it needs to sort of muster up some strength to get back above. I would love to see it close the week above the 702. I mean, that would be the big must, right? Is to do that. The 786 would be just the cherry on top, if we can do that. And if we did the 886, I would be shocked. So we'll see how that plays. But yeah, this is a big do or die moment, because again, you're in point A and point B, and you're right in the middle of these 2 points. So it can go up, it can go down. Now it looks bullish because you got these big green candles and it's going in the right direction. But again, that's what B waves are designed to do. They're designed to trap you. So I'm not saying it's a B wave. I'm just saying it could be, right? I don't know the answer. If I had to guess, I assume we're breaking out. That's my guess. My belief is that we will break out. I've always been bullish. I've been macro bullish, right? I mean, my whole channel started, really, the ultimate thing was theta getting to those retracement levels, right? Getting to those retracement levels. And we're still not there yet, and I still believe we will get there. Now, theta is definitely no Bitcoin, right? And Bitcoin drives the show, so it's up to Bitcoin, right? And when you look at Bitcoin, there's nothing to be bearish about. We're at all-time highs, right? We had a beautiful weekly candle, a bullish hammer candle that back tested exactly what we wanted. We basically got exactly what we wanted when we were up here. We got the A, we got the B, we got the C, and we got the back test, and we got the bullish hammer, right? So we got everything. Now it's up to this wave to bring us home. So bring us home. Bring us home. If this wave fails, then it doesn't mean TA failed. It just means it was a failed setup, right? So essentially, because there's TA, there's people are looking at this chart saying it's bearish. People look at this chart saying it's bullish. There's different ways you can look at it. So whoever interprets it the right way basically has the advantage. So I think that's why I use Elliott wave. I use sequential. I use wave structure, candles, divergence. I try to use the tools that I think have more of an edge. Now, there are fancier indicators out there, but those are more for longer term price action. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Like I said, if I had to guess, I say this is an ABC. We back tested the bull market support band, and now we're getting ready to go. It might take a couple weeks. I'm not saying it's going to happen today or tomorrow, but it might take some time here, right? We might flag out a little bit before breaking out. So, yeah, that's how I'm looking at it. Now, I will change my mind if Bitcoin falls below if Bitcoin falls below 60,000. If we go below 60,000 again, I'm going to be very, very bearish, because then, the thing is you could say, well, what about back testing the bull market? That's true. We have the bull market support band, but usually when you come down and you nail it, right? You can't see it on this chart, but you nailed it. And then you shot off very, very strongly back to the swing high, right? So the bull market support band would go down like this. By the time it would get there, it would probably break this line anyway. So the distance would be too long versus, right, price coming up to the bull market support band, right? It bounces off and then it bounces again. Bounces, and then goes. But if it bounces really, really high and then it comes all the way down, it's going to be harder for the price to support it. So kind of like, let me bring up theta here. See how it didn't bounce up that high? We came down, we hit it, we bounced, and then we hit it again. That's good. That's building a base on the bull market support band. But if this price bounced all the way up here and then came all the way back down to test it again, that's not really the good. That's not showing its strength, right? Because you're coming from a high point and you can break through it. So look at these structures in here. We hit the bull market support band. We bounced up a little bit. I mean, it was pretty big, but it wasn't too big. It wasn't way up here. And then we came down. We hit it again. We hit it again. We bounced off beautifully all of these days in here. So this is the 2-day chart. So I think it was 15 days, somewhere in there. So yeah. So since we're on theta, let's look at theta. So theta actually finally had a dump, right? Finally had the dump. Now, what did we talk about with theta? We said, essentially, if we do pull back, we're going to want to hold this zone right here. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're holding the zone. So let's see if we can, because the easy part is breaking out. The hard part is confirming the breakout with a back test. So I like what I see so far. We're building a base on the back test level. So this is actually very good. This is what we want to see. So hopefully that continues to mature and we can start to accelerate out of here. So there's two ideas really what it comes down to. Either this is coming down for wave A, then we're going to come up for wave B, and then we're going to get another wave C, maybe go sideways and break out, something like that. Or the same idea, just with a different look. We have basically an A, B, and a C. We do something like that. We don't break this low, so we're good, and we continue to move up like that. So something like that. So those are the two ideas there. Now the bullish idea is to say we already have an ABC, right? Let's zoom in. So we already got the ABC, A, B, and C. So we already have the three-way move. We back tested this area. We have a 1, 2. Actually, let's zoom in on that there. So look at this. I mean, it doesn't look so good right now, but I kind of like this candle here. It was a pretty big wick. So we bounced pretty high, and then we pulled back, and now we're going sideways. So is this a 1, 2? And now we're consolidating for that third wave, or prepping for that next wave to the upside? Maybe. We're in a tight area here, so we'll see. Or is this an A, B, and then we're going to come up, hit C real quick, and then come back down, right, and finish out the wave. So we're in a tough spot here on the small time frames. Now on the large time frames, it's been pretty straightforward. So I still believe we need to get up here. Somehow, some way. I don't know how it's going to get there, but that's ever since we were right here, I've been thinking here. So we're almost there. Now, what happens when we get there? Are we going to keep breaking out? Well, we'll have to talk about that when we get there. I would imagine we would consolidate for some time. So let's see, is this on log scale? Okay. So, this is either so you could technically say we already back tested it because we back tested this top point here. Right? But let's say if that wasn't enough, then we're going to have to back test these areas down in here. So somewhere there, if this is the bearish idea. So if this is what's going to happen, which really is actually very bullish, because what you would have, right, is some type of A, B, C, which would ultimately be a 1. You have an A, B, C. A 1, you have an A, B, C. So this is a 1, 2, 1, 2. And then you go incredibly, very, very fast. And you might even break through that, right? I mean, you might even get up here. Closer, instead of, $5 to $7, you'd get closer to that $8 to $10 mark. If that's the case, because that would be a pretty powerful 1, 2, 1, 2, if that's what it's going to do, right? Because you would have a bigger slingshot to get you up here. So I don't know. As a theta hodler, would you want that? I mean, it would suck for, let's see, how long would that take? That would still take approximately another, I would say 3 to 4 to 5 months. I would say between 2.5 to 5 months before we start, reversing. So, maybe by September, October, November, and that is the bullish time for crypto. Between October and December is typically when things get bullish. That's just what happens. I'm not sure why, but that's the seasonality. And then also springtime gets bullish. Usually summers are bearish. Summers are boring. Summers are just, consolidation. So I'm not sure. So that's why based off what I just said there, my whole thing has been, let's hurry up before summer comes and get another high. And then all summer we can just, let's get up here for another high. And then all summer, right, we can consolidate, right, before climbing up in October, November. So that's one idea. So the next idea is to say that this is a 1, 2. This is 3. This is wave 4. And now we're going up into wave 5. Right? So I have it drawn there. There's August. Right? So I'll go from August or July, August to October. Right? So we would consolidate for about 90 days. Just eyeballing it. I don't know if that's what's going to happen, but I'm just giving you a visual sort of representation of what could happen based off the seasonality of what crypto usually does during the summer. So that's why I was like, I would really like us, because we're racing against the clock here. I mean, it's already getting close to June, so we really don't have too much time left for us to get this pump. Now, if we get it, then we consolidate all summer, and then, November, December comes, we can hopefully continue breaking out. That would be the nice thing to see. Now, regardless of the seasonality, that would be the count, right? So it's either a 1, 2, 1, 2. We have a big third wave, or it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we consolidate up here. So that's how I see it. Now, those are the two bullish counts. For whatever reason, let's say there's a black swan stock market apocalypse, right? And everything's just dying and melting. Well, then theta really can't stand a chance, right? So obviously it's gonna fall. If Bitcoin falls, if the stock market falls, if the whole world goes to crap, maybe central banking crisis, right? I mean, obviously, I would still hodl my crypto. The exchange price is really not important to me when the world is going to crap, right? If that's what's going to happen. But if we break that zone, then this could have, let me put the Fibonacci here. This could have an 80% drop, right? So between $1.22.93. Now, if we break that, then, we're probably, this is just in the event of a black swan event that nobody can control, right? Then what this would be is 1, A, B, C. And that would be the scary thing. That would be the ultimate scary idea. And that could totally happen if the world says it's possible. Now, does the TA say it's possible? It actually does, because a B wave has 3 waves. We have 1, 2, 3. We have 3 waves, right? We met up here with resistance, and we had 5 waves down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's wave A. 1, 2, 3. That's wave B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That would be wave C. So A, B, C. And then we would build a base down here, and then go to the moon. So, man, that would be very just, can you imagine that? Now, I don't know how long it would take, right? So we're June 2024, June 2025, that would be 1 year, and June 2026. I would imagine 2 years. If this were to happen, I would imagine it would take the very least 1.5 years, and the very most maybe 3 years to recover from this, if that was going to happen. And this kind of thing would result into Bitcoin probably going back down below, definitely below 30K, I would think. So we'll see. I have no idea if that's going to happen. I'm just saying it's possible, right? It's possible. But if you're hodling and you have your theta on an exchange, that's not good. If you have your theta, always hold your coins in your own possession. That's the number one thing that I would recommend, unless you're trading, is to keep your coins off the exchange. Because if we have a black swan event, if we have a crypto collapse, if we have, or not a crypto collapse, I think if crypto would collapse, it would be because the deep state did it. Right? Crypto is inherently bullish. It is a new asset class. It's new technology. It wants to rage on, right? Because it knows its worth, and it knows its value, and it knows what its place in the world is, and that's tremendous value. So if the deep state doesn't like that because it interferes with their central banking cbdc system, their debt-based enslavement system that they've been strangling us for well over 100 years, right? Even going back to 1812, right? So first of all, we had the first central bank of the United States, right? The people rose up and said they were thieves. They didn't do it right, right? It was bullcrap. So the people rose up, with their torches and their pitchforks hanging outside the banks. We want our money. We want our money, right? So finally the bank just left. Then they weaseled their way back in, and now we had the second central bank of the United States, right? And people were aware of their tactics, right? I mean, this even goes back further, like back in the day, like with the Rothschilds and all that. Like, I'm talking these, if you want to know people who really run the world, it's them. It's those types of people, the central bankers, right? So when I see now, no offense when I say this, but when I see groups like BLM, right? BLM. I was gonna be careful the way I word it because I don't want to be hit anything. They're marching. I mean, really, their hatred should be directed towards, those people, right? Those are the ultimate criminals of the planet, and not just them, but all these different groups that are out there protesting. So we have this crypto system that is a threat to their system that they've been having for hundreds of years, right? And then going back to the second central bank, Andrew Jackson was president. He was the first Democrat president back when Democrats had, common sense. and they weren't bought and paid for by entities, right? So on both sides of the aisle, by the way. So Andrew Jackson, right? Google it. Google the Bank War of 1812, right? There was an actual war. And I think his last words were, I don't know if this is true, but he said, "I killed the banks." And then he also said, like, Google Andrew Jackson banking quotes. I mean, that was his main thing, was the banks, right? That was his number one enemy, was the banks, because they knew, right? He called them a den of vipers and thieves, right? And with their shady tactics. So the banks have a lot of power, right? They have a lot of power. They have a lot of money. They have a lot of power, right? And you don't know their faces. That's the thing. Like, you know Joe Biden's face, you know Congress' face, you know the mainstream media's face, right? You know these people's faces, but you don't know their face because they don't like to show their face. They're in the shadows. The real people who pull the strings, you don't even know they exist, right? People in the dark shadows that they have no name, they have no face. They're basically owners, right? They're shareholders. I mean, the Federal Reserve is a privately owned central bank, and there are shareholders, that people that own the Fed. And those are the real people who, have power. So if they wanted to, they could cause something like that. I don't know how they would do it, right? Obviously, they have a lot of money. So what they would do maybe is short the hell out of it. I don't know. Well, it's very hard to know. But my guess is they wouldn't even target crypto. They would probably target the stock market, and they would cause a collapse, because our whole entire system is failing, which means what? Which means the central banks don't want to be blamed for the reason why their system failed. So what do? Well, that's why we had C-19. That's why we have all the wars going on in the Middle East. That's why we have the thing with Russia, Ukraine, and all of these things going on right now, right? And even more than that. So to me, it's all a ploy to get us into war, so that they can blame the war for the reason why we have inflation, for the reason why our economy is not doing so well, when we know the truth. The economy is not doing well because we live in a central banking debt-based system, right? First of all, 2008 recession, remember that? We never left the recession. We never left it. All we did was print our way out. So 2008 came, right? And they bailed out the banks. They bailed them out, which means the government printed money, right? Or the Fed printed money. They borrowed it from the Fed, and then they gave it to they bailed them out. So all that did was print their way out of the problem, which basically means you're kicking the can down the road. So now, fast forward 2008 all the way to today, right? What is it, 16 years later? Here we are today, 16 years later, right? And what's going on? Well, we have inflation like never before. They're blaming it on what? C-19. Yeah, C-19 was a big problem, but it's been going on longer than that. So the central banks caused all of these problems like C-19, right? They caused it. Why? Because of the distractions. And they also did it, in my opinion, because they wanted Trump out of the White House, right? They wanted to blame it all on him, that he caused it. So they were basically hitting two birds with one stone. But now the thing is, right, people are aware. That's why I think Trump, not to be political, and I'm not political, I'm here for crypto. I'm a crypto fan. I want you to win. I want your family to be well off. I want you and everybody in crypto to be in a position of strength. And the way we do that is we have to be thinking logically here. Even if we did, like I said, even if we did get something like that, I wouldn't sell it, because you don't know how it would play out. right? I mean, we can get down here and then they can just take it up, right? So to wait for something like that, but what I would be doing is definitely buying the dip and taking advantage of it. But anyway, let me get that ugly, ugly thing off the screen and get back to business here. But I guess the final thing to say about it is, I think that's why, Trump didn't want to be president. I mean, obviously he played it really good. I think he knew they were going to steal it, and I think he kind of let them do it in a way. I mean, he fought really hard to keep it, but I think he ultimately knew it wasn't going to work. So I think his tactic was to say, okay, let's take him and put him on center stage and watch this clown show unfold. So now he's been president, right? Biden's been president for the last 4 years. Everybody's witnessing what's going on with all, everything, the economy, inflation, what's going on over there, overseas, and just all over the place. So we're witnessing, that. And I think what that's doing is it's waking people up and making them realize that this is not good. Just for example, like the crypto bill, right? All the people came over and said, yeah, it was bipartisan. No, it wasn't. It was not bipartisan. It was all Republicans, right? Look at the list. It was mostly Republicans. Yes, a lot of Democrats did vote, but you know why they did? Because they had no choice. They don't want crypto to succeed, right? Because why? They do the bidding of the central banks, right? They do the bidding of the, special interests and lobbyists. That's why I voted for Trump, because he's not bought and paid for by special interests and lobbyists. He doesn't need the money. Maybe I was wrong, but now that time has passed, we can see who's on what side, right? And that was another reason I think he didn't want to be president, because he wanted to see, you put people in positions to see how they perform, and then you can kind of tell, are they loyal to what's going on, or are they loyal to the banking cartel, right? So, the Democrats, they voted for it because it was all political, right? We have an election. If it was 2 years ago, they would have never voted for it. Hell no. Why would they? There's no benefit for them, because the election is coming up, right? There's a major election coming, and basically there are like how many millions of Americans who have crypto? How many millions of people want it to succeed? They had no choice. They had to vote yes, right? Because if they voted no, they would commit political suicide, even though they wanted to. So when I hear all these Bitcoin maxis and when I hear crypto people in general saying, oh, look, the Democrats, they came in and they saved the day. No, they didn't. They did not want this bill, right? I mean, they're glorifying the Democrats as if they were the saviors. No, it was the Republicans. They were basically the ones who are in favor of crypto, right? I mean, they were making the arguments for why they should vote yes on the bill. I mean, look at Gary Gensler. He's a Goldman Sachs boy, bought and paid for by the central bank. Look at Elizabeth Warren, the same thing, right? She wants to ban crypto. Look at Maxine Waters. Look at Joe Biden. He said he wouldn't veto the bill. Great, but he doesn't like the bill. He doesn't want the bill, because they're under the belief that crypto is used by criminals who are traffickers and things like that, when in reality it's a cash business. If you're a trafficker, why would I use a crypto that's basically recording my transaction on the blockchain, something they can eventually find, right? The cybernetics people, the people who understand cyber warfare, they have plenty of technology to figure out who's trafficking who based off crypto. They can easily track it. So that's why they don't use crypto. They use cash. They use physical paper because it's untraceable. Why would they use Bitcoin? That doesn't make any sense. Maybe in some parts of the world, but I just don't see it. So the whole narrative is crypto is bad. Crypto needs to die, right? We don't want crypto because it's used by criminals. And investors, they can't have it because we can't have them being successfully rich, right? They don't want me and you rich. They want me and you poor. Why? Because the more poor we are, the easily we are controlled, right? Because they can do what? Universal basic income. They can come out and say, hey, look, you're struggling. I get it. Yeah, because because all of you. That's why we're struggling. People don't realize just how much wealth there is in the world, and people don't have to suffer. But there's the 1% of the 1% of the 1% are keeping it all to themselves, all the resources, all the abundance of wealth, right? And we have to pay for it through inflation, right? So inflation is a stupid man tax. That's why we're here in crypto. And you can say, I don't care about that. All I care about is the price. I talk about the price. Everything I'm talking about is the reason why the price does what the price does. Right? This is why I'm here. Most people, I would guess a handful of people are in crypto because they just want to make money. They don't care about what's going on in the world. They don't care about the central banks. They just see an opportunity to make money, and I totally get it. I'm with you on that. But we have to understand, what's at stake here, because they can take it away, right? We're at war right now. It might not be with bullets and guns and things like that, but we are definitely in a situation where we're fighting. We're fighting for our freedom. We're fighting for crypto, right? We're fighting for many different things. And the deep state, they don't want that. They want you suffering, right? Think about it. What kind of system do we live in where the Federal Reserve is a privately owned system? They answer to no one. They do not allow anyone to audit their system, right? Basically, a private entity is in control of our multi-trillion-dollar monetary system. So why is that even there? Right? Why do we allow that? And then they print money out of thin air. They loan it to the government with interest attached. Then we, the taxpayer, have to pay it back plus interest plus inflation. Right? When you go to the grocery store, when you pay your apartment or mortgage bill, it's expensive. It doesn't have to be expensive. Right? For far too long, people have been suffering. I think crypto is going to save a lot of people. So if you're here watching me and listening to my voice and you're in crypto, especially Theta and other coins, right? I believe XRP, Bitcoin, maybe not so much Bitcoin. I don't see it as percentages goes, but I definitely believe the altcoins that have real utility, I think it's going to give people life-changing opportunities. Now, we still have a problem though. We're still valuing Theta in dollars, right? So even though, right, Theta can go to $100. Let's say Theta goes to $100. But what good is it if milk is $50 a gallon? You see what I mean? Nothing's changed. It's still as if Theta is $2, right? So we need to fix our money system. And that's the whole reason why we see all of these things going on, right? What did Donald Trump say? He said, my biggest threat is the Federal Reserve. There it is right there. It was back in 2018. My biggest threat is the Fed. When I heard that, yeah, because he was raising interest rates too fast, but there's much more to it in my opinion. Because at the end of the day, the good guys, the patriots, me and you, freedom, right? Crypto, we have a plan. But they also have a plan. And their plan is basically control through a central bank digital currency where they can turn it off and turn it on. That's why I don't like electric cars, specifically like Tesla. I think they're cool, but I don't like them because if you buy a Cybertruck, Elon Musk can turn it off. Now, what kind of crap is that, right? Let's say, and that's what they want, right? Like, and the reasoning, they say, well, we want that because, if you rob the bank, we can turn your car off as you're running away from the police. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. But At what moment do we cross the line and say that's too much? I mean, there are different tactics to stop people from, running away on the freeways. Now, you're going to make everybody's car able to turn on and off, right? So, like, if you didn't pay your credit card bill, they can turn your car off, right? Or, well, yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't pay it because I'm running out of money because the central banking system is exploding and all the debt is unraveling and I can't afford anything either. I'm working 2 jobs. I can't afford it anymore. Well, sorry, we're going to repossess your stuff. So I mean that it's kind of a scary world. And don't even get me started on the I won't even say the word, but it starts with V and it rhymes with axe. So think about it. I mean, that whole thing is a control thing as well. And nobody's buying it anymore. And that's why, I think Joe Biden needed to be president. Like, if I can go back in a time machine, I wouldn't have Trump, get in there. I would want Joe Biden because it's waking everybody up. If Trump was in office, we would still have the same problems. We would still have inflation. He wouldn't be able to fix it, right? So I think, Joe Biden's taking the fall. And we have to be smart when it comes to this upcoming election. Because, again, I'm not trying to be political. I'm voting for wealth. I'm voting for freedom, right? I'm not voting for Trump. I'm not voting, for Republican. I'm just voting in favor of who favors freedom, who favors crypto, right? So you're going to have to make that decision yourself. But at the end of the day, the good guy's plan, right, is to expose the central bank. And this is my opinion. I could be wrong. Everything I'm saying is my opinion, right? You can say I'm wrong. I'm not, that's fine. But what I'm saying here is I believe the good guy's idea is to have a sound money system, right? Because we have a Federal Reserve debt-based system that's not working. We have to control interest rates and the income tax, and that's another fraud, is income tax. You shouldn't be, that's basically slavery, right? If you're working a job and, let's say your check is $2,500, but you're only taking home $1,600. That's bullcrap, right? And some people say, yeah, but they need tax dollars to form the government. No, they don't. They don't need that, right? If they have the power to print money, then why do they need my money? Why not just borrow it from the Fed, right? Why not just borrow it from the Fed, or why not just use it through sales tax? Now, I believe in sales tax and things like that. But income tax, that's a big no-no. That's slavery. Point, period, the end. So basically, the good guy's plan is sound money, right? I believe there's going to be an auditing of the Federal Reserve. I believe the Federal Reserve is going to be reconstructed to favor we the people. This is what I believe. I believe when Trump gets into office, mark my words, the Federal Reserve is going to be the target, right? Something's going to happen that's going to allow the administration to look at the Fed with a microscope. And that's when they're going to try to roll out their CBDC plan, right? Because the first thing was a political fight. Now we're getting into the financial fight, because this whole war between Democrats, Republicans, this whole thing politically is about what? It's about money. Everything is about money all of the time. Once you understand that truth, then everything becomes much clearer. So we have the Republicans and the Democrats basically fighting over the same thing. But one is saying, hey, let's have freedom. Let's have sound money. Right? And then the other is saying, no, we can't allow that. We need CBDC. We need control. We need to be able to turn it off and turn it on when we please. But that goes totally against the central banking, or that goes totally against the Bitcoin thesis, right? If the Democrats vote for the crypto bill, but then they turn around and vote for the CBDC bill, then basically it null and voids their original vote. Why? Because CBDC is basically completely centralized and they can turn it on and turn it off. Crypto is mostly decentralized. So we want a system, right? Audit the Fed, reconstruct them with a system that attaches itself with gold, right? Gold and silver as a backing, and then use the blockchain as the technology portion to have peer-to-peer transactions, smart contracts, liquidity providers, payment rails, different things, crypto can use. That's why I like XRP. That's why and not just XRP, but the company Ripple. Ripple is a private company that's trying to work with the banks so that when this day arrives, right? A lot of people say XRP is a banker coin and it's evil and it's centralized and this and that. No, when it arrives, right? Everything I'm saying, there's like I said, there's going to be a war. It's going to be CBDC, central bank digital currency, or it's going to be a sound money system, something that attaches itself with gold and crypto on the blockchain. So a company like Ripple would play a major role in that fight because now, right, if, and their whole thing as well as CBDC, but if we're going to have CBDC, it needs to be regulated in a way where they can't micromanage people's accounts and things like that. So for me, the next couple of years are going to be definitely interesting. And that's why I'm a big proponent for gold and for silver, because that is actually sound money. And then also crypto, right? Crypto, gold, and silver are not going away. So as they're fighting for the new because that's what it's basically coming down to. We can see the financial system is crumbling. The central banks are crumbling it, right? So what new system is it going to be? Is it going to be a tyrannical CBDC? Is it going to be crypto? Is it going to be gold and silver? I think it's going to be a mixture of all three. But as long as there's freedom, I think at the end of the day, crypto is going to where you're going to want to be. So, damn, I ranted a lot. Hopefully, I ranted a lot. So, forgive me. But sometimes I just got to say it, right? I got to talk about it because at the end of the day, that's why we're all here. I mean, that's at least why I'm here, right? Maybe we might have different opinions and that's okay. I respect everybody's opinion. Maybe the way about how things are going to happen doesn't align with what you see. That's okay. At least we're coherent about the possibility of something fishy going on that needs to be dealt with, right? And that's why they can take crypto down and act like they killed it, right? Kind of like when the SEC came out and sued XRP, everybody thought it was dead, right? So if they bring it down, oh no, we're going to zero, and they can easily just take it up, right? So everything is smoke and mirrors. Don't believe anything you say. Don't even, take my word for it, right? Nothing I say is financial advice at all. So this is just my opinion. I could be totally wrong. I would love to hear your opinion. So anyway, when I go back to the price of theta, I'm already over an hour, but I think since I didn't get a video out yesterday, maybe it's okay that we went over an hour. So we can see, right, the price is still broken out, right? We have a 4-day beautiful candle breakout. Let's actually go to the daily here. So the daily chart, we're back under the line. Let's see. Are we back under the line? No, we're still holding the line. So that's good. And this is one of the things I talked about in yesterday's video, and I couldn't upload it. So we're holding the line, right, for the price of theta. That's exactly what we want to see. Also, we are back testing this area in here. That's exactly what we want to see, and that's exactly what we talked about. So we want to hold it, right? So if you're a dollar cost averager, which I hopefully people are, this would be a good area, not financial advice, but to start nibbling, right? Keyword nibble, just, a little bit, and see how it goes. We could totally still have more downside, but again, this is the area where you just got to take risk. Not to saying you should take risks, but for me, this is where I take risk, is when you break out of a structure, you come back down and you back test that breakout level. It's giving you an opportunity to, to buy. So we'll see if it holds in here. If we start to go up correctively, and then we start to pull back, then it's basically going to be a bigger ABC, and it still would offer another dollar cost averaging situation, right? And then we kind of build a base, and then we continue higher. So that's kind of where we are with theta. Am I bullish long term? Yes. Am I bullish short term? I would say so. I would say yes on the short term. Now in the medium term, we could still have one more wave down, but on the short term, I see this holding here at least for a little while. Now, one thing could happen. Let me zoom in a little bit closer. This could be a fourth wave. So what I mean by that is this could be 1, 2, this is 3, ABC wave 4, and then we come down for wave 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That could totally happen, right? Which would, if that happened, then I would see something like this, a bigger ABC, because that would be more 5 waves. If we have 5 waves down, I'm looking for 3 up, 5 down again before having another chance to go up. But if this is only 3 waves, which I'm hoping that it is, A, B, C, and this is a 1, 2, and now we're consolidating, then hey, you're going to wish, if we go up, you're going to wish you would have, dollar cost average. Not to say that it will go up, but I'm just understanding where you are. You're at a relatively low risk based off this wave, right? Remember, keyword based off this wave, because if I take it up here, look where we're at. We're right at the 618. We came all the way down. We even almost tagged the 886. We went all the way back up to the 50 line, perfectly to the 50 line, and now we're holding, this is important, we're holding above the 618. So basically, we had a 618 retrace. So, I mean, that's a good area to buy. Now, as far as entries go, I would look at the smaller time frame for a proper entry. So if I'm going to buy, I would, because this is all very corrective. It's hard to know what's going on here. But it seems to me that this is 1, this is an A, and we're kind of channeling up in a B. So I would expect a move down like this. So boom, 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 probably somewhere over here. That would be a nice entry. So we have a 1, ABC, and then we start rocking back up. So I would wait till we get down here. Maybe $2.23 to $2.25. Now, if we start breaking this low, or actually, I'm sorry, if we start breaking $2.22 and $2.17, then I might be more reluctant to, I might be, waiting a little longer to see. But yeah, that's the price of theta. I don't want to make this video too long. I was actually going to make this video more about XRP, and I only spent like 5 minutes on XRP. I ended up talking more about theta than anything. So I'll just circle back real quick. I'm going to have to do a full-on XRP video. I'm just going to say it real quick, and then I'll probably do it again. But either this is the most bullish thing we ever have in the world, which is what? Which is a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. If that is a 1, 2, 1, 2, man, this thing is just going to go to outer space. Why would it go to outer space? Well, think about the Ethereum ETF. Think about the XRP ETF, right? They just came out and said, the next ETF could be Solana or XRP. I think it should be XRP because, XRP's been around. XRP has much more seniority over Solana. So we'll see. We'll see how that plays. But yeah, this could be a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, and we're getting ready to just rip to the upside. Massive, massive pump. Or this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're getting 5, and then we rip with a massive pump. So pick your poison. What do you think it's going to be? So since you don't really know yet, I'm more inclined to say, I'm more inclined to really just wait and see how this develops in here. But it's if this is a 1-2 and this is a 3 and this is a 4, wave 4 is awfully big, and it has too many waves so far, right, to be a triangle. I mean, it still could be a triangle where you have A, B, C, D, E, and now we're going down. That could be the case, right? In which case it would be 5-wave move, we come down, and that would correlate with theta as well, backtesting that certain area. So let's hope that's not the case. And the only way that would happen, go back to Bitcoin, is if Bitcoin starts losing 60K to 63K, right? Between 63 and a half. If we lose that zone, then I can totally see that happening. But yeah, let's check in on Bitcoin real quick. Yeah, we're still hanging up there. I mean, we got major resistance here. So let's see. Can we break this line? Look at that. We came right up to the line. That's cool. So yeah, I would imagine we would spend some time here struggling a bit. So yeah, all the counts are basically the same. Again, this is either a flat, and we have one more wave down, right? So it wouldn't be an A, B, C, 1, 2, maybe a 1, 2 before we go up. It would most likely come down if this is a flat. If it's not a flat, then we want to see it start to build a base in here. If we can build a base in here over the weekend, we're going to look really good, I think. So, yeah, we'll keep it going. Let's see, is there anything else? Total 3 real quick. Total 3, we got what we wanted, right? Which is, we broke out. And I'm starting to look at it. It kind of looks like Wyckoff. By the way, here's a fractal I did last night. I was just having fun playing with it. This was actually the 5-minute chart on Bitcoin. And actually, I drew this little pink line, and it actually went up. It actually started to go up. But it's right here. So you see that little dot? The price is right here in this flat structure. So maybe it plays out, maybe it doesn't. But yeah, kind of interesting. Here's another count screenshot I took for XRP on the 3-day chart. So we have one wave, we have an A, B, C, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it could be a 1, 2, and now we're heading up to 5. With, if we're in wave 2, we could still come down quite a bit as long as we don't break below, that 49, 48 cent level. Since I had no internet, I was kind of playing around yesterday, having some fun. I created this little banner to use for my Twitter backsplash, not your profile picture, but your background picture. So I thought it came out pretty good for me. Not, I'm not a digital artist at all. I just kind of copy and paste the old-fashioned way. So anyways, let me get back to business here. Yeah, so what I was saying, it could be actual, maybe some type of Wyckoff, maybe. Let's talk about it. Let's diagnose it. So we have 3 up, right? We have 3 up. Then we come down, right? We come down and we actually, here's the closes. So excluding this wick, we actually have that secondary test in phase B right there. Then we came up without taking out this high. So right here, so we have this high here, right? Here's the high, here's a lower high, here's a high, here's a lower high. And then we start to curve and round out and break it. We start to curve and round out and break it. And now we're right at SOS, right? We're at phase D. So let's put some lines on here. Put one there. I'll put one there. And look at this. Right there matches up with here, matches up with here. So it actually looks good. I'll put this line there and this line there. So yeah, look at that. Yeah, now that I look at it, I'm liking that. I just, wasn't considering that at first. But yeah. So we are basically right here. Right? So let me zoom it out a little bit. So you can see this area right here. So basically we break out and we're back testing these 2 points. So we're oscillating back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. We're basically consolidating. We're building a base on top of this major base, right, before we break out. So that, now that I look at it, I wasn't even considering it. But yeah, I actually kind of like it. Now, if it could turn into a bigger Wyckoff as well, maybe. Basically, if it comes down here and it develops the spring. So this is schematic. This is a different schematic. So there's one schematic that actually takes out the low and then goes like that, right? Or kind of rounds out and goes like that. But maybe it's finished now, right? Where we have this Wyckoff here. If we start going down again like this, I think it would just turn into a bigger Wyckoff structure. But I don't really like it because look, we broke the top here. So, I mean, you can see how this is halfway above and halfway below. Same thing here, we're halfway above, halfway below. So it's got a really good look to it. So, yeah, let me take everything off the screen. So maybe something like what the picture said, right? The example, some boom, 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 and then something like that. So there you go. All right, guys, that'll do it. Sorry for the long video. Sorry for the rant. I don't like to be political and things like that. I don't want to discourage anybody's viewpoints politically. I'm just sharing you with what mine was and the reason why I believe what I believe. And, at the end of the day, it all comes down to crypto and having the freedom, right? Freedom of choice. So why should I have to be using the US dollar? What if I don't want the dollar? Like China, right? And Russia, they're dumping treasuries. They're getting rid of the dollar. So why can't I get rid of my dollar? That's why. That's why they don't like crypto. They don't want you transmitting your dollars into crypto, right? Because what you're doing is you're taking your dollar and you're basically converting it into crypto, which basically means you're taking your money out of the banking system, right? If the banks had it their way, all the money would be in the bank, right? So you put $10 in the bank, they'll loan out $100. So they're making money off of you. So that's why the banks hate crypto, is because if you take all your money and convert it into crypto, which I wouldn't say that would be a good thing, but I'm just saying, right? And again, cash is king, right? Cash is, king. You want to have cash on hand, not cash in the bank, But physical cash, because if something happened where you needed cash, right? You know, you're gonna want cash. But as far as wealth and money in the bank, you know, for me, I like to convert that into gold, silver, or crypto, and then just wait and see what happens. Because, you know, that's really why they don't like crypto, is because you're converting it away from their system into a system that they cannot control, right? That's why crypto is each cryptocurrency, right? Specific ones are anti-debt instruments, right? So like Gregory Mannarino says, bet against the debt, become your own central bank, hodl, and you'll be fine, right? And, you know, because if the storm is upon us, we got to weather the storm. If there's going to be a big crash, right? You don't know if that's going to happen. You don't know when it's going to happen, right? So, you know, a lot of people anticipated it was going to happen, you know, before, right? So what they did was, you know, they sold all their crypto in here, right? And then what happened is they waited for it to go lower, and then what happened? We came all the way back up. And now those people who sold down here are actually buying up here, right? So if it comes back down, right, then it's going to be like, man, that's a tough one, right? Because there's really three counts. There's a bullish count, a neutral count, and a bearish count. The bullish count, or I'll start with the bearish count. The bearish count is we come up, we have an A, we have a B, we have a C, we go. That would be massive. That would be detrimental, right? I mean, that would be huge. I mean, you take this proportion, right, and you match it up with this, so we have A, B, C. The next idea is the bullish idea, right? The very, very bullish idea is to say that this is an ABC or even an ABC flat. This is a 1, 2. This is another 1, part of a third wave, right? So wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And we get that final blow off top. So we curve down, we blow up, boom. That'd be the ultimate bullish count. And it would end the bull market. The other idea is the most neutral idea, the idea that I always talk about, right? I'm not saying that this idea is going to happen, but basically what you have is you have a rise, a crash, a retrace, you come down for reaccumulation, then you go sideways, and then you break out. So rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, sideways, blast off. Kind of like what happened over here. The reason I don't like it so much is because we developed a base. That's why I'm more bullish than ever, right? Because look at this huge base. This big base really was the reaccumulation area. Look what happened down here. We didn't have any base. We basically had a V-shaped recovery. We came all the way up, right? We had a rise, crash, retrace, reaccumulation, right? Then we went sideways, and then we blasted off. So is that what's going to happen over here? The same thing over here? Same thing over here? Well, it doesn't look like it because look at the base, right? Look how massive it is. We had plenty of time. I would imagine you get a little pullback, right? Maybe a little pullback here, or maybe you hit the high again and then you pull back, but nothing massive, right? So that's kind of how I'm leaning. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you can, like this video. If you made it this far, wow, congratulations. You are a rare breed. I appreciate you guys. You know, I'm trying to condense the videos, but, you know, I went on a political rant, so it is what it is. Next video, I promise it will be short and to the point. So I might even do that. So anyways, thank you guys. I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.